So one of my absolute favorite things is when artists release videos on how they made the song. I think it is so cool, whether it be showing the songwriting process, whether it be the recording process, or whether it be the production process. The behind the scenes to me is my absolute favorite part. It's just, I think there's so much you can learn, and it's just so cool to see behind the artist's brain. Like, what were they thinking when they made this? How did they make this? What was the intention behind it? All these different factors, and especially somebody like FINNEAS, which is an incredible, like a genius, producer, genius songwriter, very unique in his sounds and the way that he makes things. So like, it's cool to kind of get this inside look. So shout out to Variety for making this video. I really appreciate them posting this because I'm looking forward to this. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jacob Restituto. I'm a musician from Northport, New York, and today checking out FINNEAS making what I was made for, Billie Eilish. Let's get right into this.
You barely hear it. It's so muffled. It's so in the background, but you feel it. I'm always trying to hide stuff. Hi, I'm FINNEAS, and I'm going to take you behind the song, What Was I Made For?
I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try.
Vocals are
This
insane.
happens occasionally where lyrics and melody and chords are all kind of happening at the same time. I sat down at the piano and we just started writing. The whole song, minus I think the final verse that happens at the very end of the song, was written in about 30, 35 minutes. We recorded a little voice memo, just like sitting at the piano on my iPhone. 4 or 5 days later, whenever we reconvened, recorded a vocal and a piano at the tempo that the final version is in.
I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try.
I think of creativity as like not a task. Recording a great vocal for 3 hours and comping all the takes together as a task, right? If we're sitting and creating something.
Very interesting perspective. It's like the difference between like, production and writing essentially.
I try not to be rigid at all. And then when she's recording vocals, she's very rigid of her own sort of volition. We try to make it very safe. I think that if you feel judged, and I'm sure Billie and I both fail at this occasionally, but I think if you feel judged, you'll be so much less creatively open. That's been a huge part of our process. And Billie and I laugh at it all the time. We'll listen to an old song or a new song and we'll shake our heads and giggle at something that might be silly or something that might be a little contrived. But again, it's just because of the feeling of safety. I record everything on Logic Pro. This song is
Shout
real
out to
piano.
Logic.
There's a piano in the studio that sounds great. Any other instrument, sometimes the actual acoustic one is the wrong flavor for the thing. But Petroff piano has a felt pedal. It's sort of typically called like the practice pedal, but it has this incredible muffled feel. You engage the felt and the hammers hit the felt instead of just hitting the string directly. So that's the piano on its own. What I have selected is piano in stereo and then room in stereo.
It's a, first of all, beautiful piano sound, like absolutely. The only thing that I struggle with having, like, I want a real piano, but like you have to keep it in perfect tune, otherwise, now you have a out of tune piano in all your songs, which is a pain.
The room is much like sort of more in the background of the whole recording, and then the actual mics that are right next to the hammers are what you're really hearing. So we just started piano, vocal. This was sort of the first base of everything.
It's cool, like the little background sound.
I used to float, now I just fall down. I used
Her
to
voice is so great.
but I'm not sure now.
The fantasy is that the song is so great and the vocal is so compelling that you could put out a song with no production and no layers and that it would be, just as well received. That's like your creative nirvana fantasy of like just pure minimalism. And there are historic, amazing examples of that, especially like you go back in time to more primitive recordings. We don't have the limitations of that time, so we're trying to make the thing that is the most fun for us to listen to. And Billie is like a harmony god. We just set about adding
First off, before we even get into this, I appreciate the fact, I don't do this and I need to get better, but I appreciate the fact that he names his tracks.
Those are left and right hard panned to create a wider image. Some harmonies come in. We kept them really quiet. The whole thing to me is like invisibly supporting the lead vocal.
I don't know how
Layered
to
vocals.
feel,
No harmony there, just lead and doubles.
but I wanna try.
Some harmony here.
I don't know how to feel.
See, it's cool to see like his panning structure. Like, I'm surprised actually that he fully hard pans, because then, well, I guess it also depends on the song, but like, do you want other things far in the right, or do you just want the vocals in the right? Because you have to like think about, you have to structure your song like almost to some degree, like a, you know, like a balance beam kind of thing, where it's like, where do you want, you know, if you have too many things in this far section, it's just, it's, you know, do you put the, obviously there's no guitar in here, but do you put the guitar over there? Where do you put the guitar? Do you put the guitar here, you know, like, so it's just cool to see his thought process in this.
Someday I might.
At that point, we're after the first chorus. This is probably the point in the song where we're not introducing new songwriting components anymore. This is this crazy toy.
Oh.
We ran them through a plugin called Sketch Cassette. And they're like, they sound like a little toy kind of breaking.
Sounds like a bee buzzing in your ear.
They're kind
It's
of
crazy.
following the vocal melodies, which is cool. They have such a kind of a, they sound a little crazy like this, but it's so melancholy to me, which I love. A bunch of Mellotron
freaky.
comes in. Mellotrons have just like the prettiest onboard stuff. It's really crazy. Sounds so vintage and
Hard
warm.
panning, man. Very hard panning. I'm surprised.
Little vibraphone, fake cello, fake strings. This is
Strings are
a
great.
contact plugin.
Big reverb string. Kind of
I
stuff.
think that it's all kind of about like the sort of physics of it. Once the production became lusher, there was room for the vocals to become lusher. And after we started adding more instrumentation, went back to the first half of the song, added some electric bass guitar just to support the kind of chordal structure of it. And we started automating in a bunch of ad-libs. I did a bunch of automating of delay and reverb. We did these kind of throws where they swell in. They just kind of pop out under certain words. And then
That's
all
cool.
these beautiful ad-libs too.
So many things hidden
Which
under
are
there, man.
buried way in the background, but they just add a little more life.
I don't know how to feel,
Huge.
but I wanna try.
You got these kind of things supporting the melody and also getting out of the way, and it just sort of feels like a choir of people singing, even though it's all Billie's voice. Mark Ronson sent about 4 tracks. So delicate, so soft. Like an orchestra stem, some harp. Beautiful.
Wow.
Love it. And in keeping, like, pretty much kept it all out until Nothing Playing and then verse 2. Just to start bringing stuff in.
That's crazy.
Some old, like, cello comes in first, which is great.
Dude, I can listen to this by itself.
Matt
It's crazy.
Dunkley did the string arrangement for this and the James Bond song. There's some really
Dude, that James Bond song is ridiculous.
subtle percussion that just happens on impact notes.
Taking a drive.
You barely hear it. It's so muffled. It's so in the background, but you feel it. I'm always trying to hide stuff. I'm trying to hide stuff because I'm a terrible visual artist, but like when you see a great painting and it's 190 different shades and it doesn't look like 190 shades, it looks like a sunset. And that to me is the approach with all music productions. Like if
Very cool.
you're thinking about it, I have failed. But if you're just absorbing it, then it's a success. This is a organ run through an arpeggiator plugin. So I'm playing all of the notes and it's just cycling through them.
I don't know how to feel.
reverb is. Or descant.
Don't know how to feel, but someday I might.
I don't think about what people are going to take away from music. I just think about what I do. If I'm in a car or listening to headphones or just in my house listening to a speaker and I hear a song and I resonate with it on some like subatomic level of like, oh man, I feel this song in my chest, whether it's just a beautiful melody or it's a profound lyric. I'm trying to recreate that feeling that I get listening to great music in what I make. I know that when we made the song,
100%.
Billie played it ad nauseum. It was like a therapy session for her. She felt like she had totally expressed what she needed to say. If fans take away that, that would be like the biggest victory. But to me, it's like if the audience took some profundity away from something and I felt nothing, I'd rather the opposite be true. I'd rather make music that I love. Seeing the response was incredibly gratifying. It was awesome.
That's crazy.
I think the goal was that it was reflective of the experience of this character, but there's also this much broader reflection of just like, who am I? And especially with Billie as an artist and as a young person who's already been in the public eye for a long time, no one I think probably feels more figured out by the rest of the world than anyone in the public eye. People are like very quick to be like, I know who that person is, I think these things about them, and I think they're this way. You know with your friendships and your relationships with anyone in life that you're subject to change, and the you of today is different than the you of 6 months ago, and the whole joy of life is changing. So.
Preach, man, preach. Dude, ridiculous behind the scenes. Like, I love that they showed all of the behind the scenes, so much behind there, man. Really, really cool production, really beautiful song, and really well written. And the production is just absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for posting this, because I learned a lot, man. Thank you. I hope you learned something too. If you're new here, my name is Jacob Restituto, and I hope to see you on the flip side. God bless and peace out.